Welcome to the video. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Boker Traditional Series Congress Folding Knife. This is a 4-bladed Congress knife, and it's also in the red jig bone. First off, let's start with some measurements. We'll do the sheep's foot blade. And actually, let me do this. I'm going to pull this other one out so we can get both of them. They're both the same length, though. The sheep's foot blade, hang on, let me go that way for you. Sheep's foot blade is coming in just above, or just shy of 2 and, actually, so 2 ticks above 2 inches. And let's see if I can get the other one here. Yeah, it looks about the same with the other one. Maybe that one's slightly longer. And then, so we have the pen blade on here. It's got a nice little pen blade, almost Warncliffe-like. This one's coming in at about just over 1 3/4 inches. And then you also have the coping blade on here, which is coming in just shy of 1 3/4. The coping blade and the pen blade both have really strong pulls on this thing. In fact, they came stiffer than this when I got it, so I had to really work on it to get them where I could open them without having much trouble. So yeah, really stiff pulls on those. And this one's stiffer than the pen blade. But yeah, you got your coping blade. It says high carbon. I don't know if I can get that to focus. Says high carbon stainless steel. But yeah, you got your coping blade, and it is kind of bent a little bit so it can fit in with all the other blades. Kind of wish that was a little bit straighter, but don't know if you could even do that with the design. Got your pen blade, which is not quite a spear point, maybe a drop point, kind of Warncliffe-y style blade, and it has to be like that because of where it sits there. Because otherwise that tip, if it was probably a normal spear point, it'd be sticking up a little bit. You got your sheep's foot blades. This one's just the this one's just plain. There's nothing on it except for the stamp there, the Boker stamp. Yeah, you got 2 main sheep's foot blades. This one has the tree brand on it, etched on it there. And then you got the Boker right there on the tang. I forgot to show you on the coping blade and the pen blade have the same tang stamp on them, or the high carbon. I got the Boker shield there in kind of like a bronze colored material. I don't know if that's what that is. There's a little bit of gapping within between the shield and the bone there. You can kind of catch it on my fingernail and I feel it there. A little bit rough on there. Pins, those 2 in the middle there, the one in the middle, sticking up a little bit because it is in that jigging. One over here is pretty flush, but you can still feel it. Here, again, kind of in the middle of the jigging, so I kind of feel it. Transition is pretty smooth, but you can still feel them. The bolsters are nickel silver bolsters on there. And then you got brass liners and spacers. You got a spacer in the middle there and 2 liners on the side. And yeah. There is quite a bit of blade rub on here, which is typical for most Congress knives because they're all together closely tight in there with no spacers. Let me get a cloth here and wipe this off because it is kind of smudgy from fingerprints. Maybe a little bit of blade rub there on the side, and I have used this so there is some scratches and stuff. Looks to be kind of like a, I don't know if that's really what you call that finish, stonewash maybe? Not quite a stonewash. It's kind of in between a stonewash and a mirror finish, it looks like. Maybe, I'm not sure what that finish is called. A little bit of blade rub on that one. Yeah, maybe a little bit up there. And then, I can't remember, either the pen blade, I think the pen blade has the worst blade rub on here. It's not really showing up on camera, but near the tip of this knife, there's quite a bit of blade rub. And on the back there, yeah, there's some blade rub right there. Coping blade, whoops, sorry, bumped the camera. And then on the coping blade, pretty good. Not really any. Actually, coping blade might not have any blade rub on it. This knife did come sharp out of the box, but the grind on it, or at least on the sheepsfoot blades, it's not very good. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of got kind of a wave to it. It goes up here and then down, and it's pretty straight all across. Yeah, wish the grind was better on this. I paid $45 for this, so I was a little disappointed on that. Yeah, I was hoping that would be better. And can't really see it on camera, but this one right here is almost a chisel ground. So the angle on this side, here, let me just, so that side, the angle's like this, but then on the other side it's almost a straight up angle. So yeah, the grind's not the best, or the sharpening, just the angle's not the best on that one. You're gonna have to, but it should be pretty easy to fix on a sharpening stone, especially because this is a pretty, this would be a pretty easy steel to sharpen. Grind's pretty good on there. Little, maybe a little wavy on there. Yeah, maybe a little bit straighter on this side than the other side. Oops, sorry. Yeah, a little uneven. Pen blade. Yeah, grind's pretty good on the pen blade. Looks pretty good on there. And the coping blade, maybe a little bit up high on the back, but other than that, it's pretty good. So yeah, sheepsfoot blades grind's not the best, but the coping blade is pretty good, and the pen blade. All the blades on here have really good snap on them. It's got a good snap there. I don't know if you can hear that. Good snap. Maybe a little bit weak on the opening, on the closing. All pretty good snap. There's no half stops on any of these blades. They're just straight pulls. Yep, good snap on all those. And there's barely any gapping in the back springs. If I hold it up to the light, there's maybe a little bit right here and right here. But overall, pretty good. And also that red bone, that's a really nice, really like that color. So if you look on different websites, like Blade HQ has this knife as made in Germany. But if you look at Knife Center, and I think also on Smoky Mountain Knife Works, although I'm not quite sure on that one, but at least on Knife Center and Blade HQ, they say this knife, or on Blade HQ, they say this knife is made in Germany, and on Knife Center, they say this knife is made in China. From my research, it looks like this knife is maybe made in China, or the parts are from China, and then it's assembled in Germany. You might have to do your own research on that, but from what I've found, that seems to be what it is. It's either made in China or parts from China assembled in Germany. Either way, this is a pretty good knife for the price. Maybe a little high. If those grinds were better, I would say it's actually a pretty fair price, but yeah, that's kind of the biggest downside on this one. Still, this is one of my, I really like this knife. It's the Congress, which is one of my favorite, maybe even my favorite patterns. This is the first Congress I got, and it's made me fall in love with the pattern, so this is a special knife for me. Really like carrying it. It's one of my favorites, or at least one of my favorite patterns. I don't know if it's necessarily one of my favorite knives, but yeah. I think that's it for now, guys. If you like videos about pocket knives and pens, and also stationery, and maybe some other EDC and knife stuff, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you on. Until next time, keep your pens filled and your knife sharp. Thank you for watching.